The West Side is the best side this week for high school soccer in the 41st District as the 41st District Tournament enters Night 2 here on Cable 10. We've got a crosstown rivalry on our hands that the last time it was played took 2 overtimes to sort out, and we're going to get another round of it here at Western Hills between the Franklin County Lady Flyers and the Frankfort High Lady Panthers. We're having all the action for you coming up here on Cable 10 as we bring you continued coverage of the 41st District Tournament. Alongside Chris Cole, I'm John Piesheimer, and interesting thing about this is we get a look at Frankfort's team huddle there. That is the team that really has kind of been on the rise in the 41st District this season, coming in as the number 2 seed. They won the Capital Cities Classic, as we mentioned, in that double overtime thriller against Franklin County. And really, they've been doing it on the back of a freshman in Emma Johnson. 17 goals in 16 games. She's really been carrying this team. Yeah,
I saw Emma play as an 8th grader back in the spring, and she is something special to be a freshman. Really look for her to be a key factor tonight, and Franklin County probably knows that as well. So look for probably them to be marking her a little more than normal, with her being the lead goal scorer for Frankfort High by 10 goals. The next highest is Margaret Wilkerson at 7. So it's really been them two this year that has produced the goals for Frankfort High.
But if you're looking at this from a statistical perspective for Franklin County, when you look at Frankfort High's goals scored, 32 on the season, but goals allowed 56. So if you get at this Frankfort High defense, you can get some success, and that'll be something that they'll be looking to do as we get ready to kick this one off. We'll be back with you with all the action, kickoff, and the first 40 minutes of this one. Stay with us here on Cable 10.
Game of the Week is brought to you by David Tolles Auto Pro. You're in good hands with David Tolles Auto Pro. Bring your vehicle to us for the best repairs in the Frankfort area. 2 locations at 1348 Versailles Road and 515 Duncan Road. And check us out at davidtollsautopro.com.
Game of the Week is brought to you by J.O. Osborne with the Franklin County Farm Bureau. The Franklin County Farm Bureau's J.O. Osborne wishes all of our local teams a healthy, competitive, and successful season. J.O. and Kentucky Farm Bureau have been insuring Frankfort since 1943. With them on your team, when you experience a loss from an accident or storm, it can be a real game changer.
And we're back here at Western Hills as the players taking the field, and we're going to have some starting lineups here in just a moment as the Lady Flyers coming in as the number 3 seed. The Lady Flyers on the season coming in with a record of 7-12, 1-2 in the district. One of those losses, of course, coming to the team that they line up across from tonight. 2-4 in the region. They're coached by Cameron Ferris. For Frankfort High, Daniel Rogers as a coach. Record on the season that really just speaks to the job he's done. 10-7 on the season with 1 draw. 2-1 in the district, 3-4 in the region. And this is going to be an interesting matchup tonight because I feel like, last night if you watched our game between Great Crossing and Western Hills to open it up, Western Hills just overmatched. Great Crossing really showed why the district runs through them, really. I feel like we may be in for a treat tonight with this matchup.
Yeah, I feel like both these games that we had tonight could turn out to be like the boys' game we had last night, that it's going to be back and forth, give and take, and nobody really scoring until the last 20 minutes or so of the game. Both teams not really known for offensive presence on the field, so this could be one of those coin flip games. When you have a 2-3, even though Frankfort High won at the...
As we'll take a second as our national anthem plays. You know, just looking a little bit down the rosters of both of these teams, both teams have one senior in the starting lineup, and for as far as, there's two for Frankfort High. You've got Annabelle Young and Margaret Wilkerson. Margaret Wilkerson being the captain of the team. And for Franklin County, you have one senior starting and one senior coming off the bench, but both still really young teams. So it's, you know, while we're seeing a game for a spot in the region, we're also kind of getting a preview of what next year is going to look like.
Well, and all four teams are really young in this district. Great Crossing has one senior. Western Hills only had three, two starters and one off the bench. So the future of the 11th region is right here in the 41st district for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and if you saw the Warhawks play in the opener last night, that's a scary proposition, as they looked to be completely in sync. As we get ready to get this one underway, Franklin County will be kicking off wearing the white, playing towards the goal on the right-hand side of your screen. And the officials counting to 22. Still working on it. And as we wait for this one to kick off, we take a look and you see the results of last night's game on the top half of the bracket there, as Great Crossing advancing to the championship game Thursday night. And they will take on the winner of this one. And it's going to be a tall order for whoever takes the win here tonight. But already Great Crossing in the region, the 11th region tournament, and the winner of this game will get that other berth, regardless of what happens Thursday night.
Yeah, and you want to be one of the 4 ones. I mean, that's the goal, right? But I stated last night, I'll state tonight, and I'll probably talk about it again Thursday night. Other than maybe the 7th region out of Louisville, the 11th region is the toughest soccer region in the state of Kentucky, in my opinion.
That would be a hard one to disagree with, as I think the results year on year have borne that out. And I'm not sure what our situation is here on the field. Players just trying to kind of stay limber out there as we have some kind of pause in the proceedings.
And there goes the other one.
And while we've got a second, we want to thank everybody who tuned in last night and who is tuning in tonight, whether you're watching us on YouTube or watching us on Cable 10. We want to thank you for joining us here on the 41st District Girls Soccer Tournament broadcast, and at long last, we'll get this one underway. Franklin County on the attack early, playing down the right channel. That is Escobar, Martinez Escobar for Franklin County, that had the ball on the right side. The Flyers playing a little pass and move there, but Frankfort High getting a foot to it. That one to go out for a Franklin County throw. And we were talking about kind of the history of, you know, the most recent history of this district. And I remember when we've seen some Franklin County teams that have come in here and really lit up the scoreboard. They've had some great individual talent over the years, and it just seemed like they always just ran smack into that three-headed monster that was Woodford County, and always seemed like Woodford County just, the district always went through them, and that's no longer the case to a degree. I mean, you have Great Crossing in here now, and they're really playing strong, but it just kind of underscores like how tough it is to have 3 schools in the same area. They're all kind of drawing from the same talent pool, and I think for teams, a lot of areas like this, you'll have players a little bit more focused in one place, and I know Great Crossing could also make that argument now that they could say that all the players in Scott County are split 2 ways.
It is, but Scott County is, respectfully talented as well, right?
Yes.
It's you got a lot bigger county to draw from in Scott County. There's more people over there. They have a club program there, and I feel like that with the decline of the club program here has kind of dwindled away maybe some interest of some of the younger players that may have
still coming in to take a shot is Kate Alvis, number 28, and just couldn't get a foot to it. Flag was up for offside. Let's take a look at the replay here. It took a bounce off of a Panther, and Alvis came up to it. I don't think the flag was up for offside. I think she was just the last one to touch it, so they were signaling a goal kick. Kate Alvis, the junior, playing wide right to start the game off for Franklin County. As Franklin County here in the first 4 minutes has had the lion's share of possession. But here come the Panthers. Here's Emma Johnson just dribbling around defenders. She's 1v1 with the keeper, and that's goal number 1. What a run from midfield by Emma Johnson. And she slots in goal number 18 on the season. And just as soon as I say Franklin County's had the majority of the possession, Frankfort High strikes first.
Well, and two, you got the keeper backpedaling. Keeper's looking straight into that afternoon sun. Hard to pick it up. And Emma Johnson just went straight down the seams of the football field and went from right foot to left side of the goal.
That was a fantastic run, and good finish too, because I think she knew that the goalkeeper for Franklin County, Rachel Nichols, was going to have a difficult time picking up the ball and just calmly put it where the keeper wasn't. Fantastic goal. Panthers up 1-0 early. Now the Flyers trying to strike back quickly, and I thought they might have a corner, but it looks like that one came off of Pettit, the midfielder junior, number 35. It'll be a goal kick for the Panthers. And now have a 1-0 lead and the wind at their backs a little bit. Now Frankfort High looking to counter again. You can see a little bit of the strategy at play here. And a little bit of miscommunication there for Franklin County, but ball bounces kindly for them. And you can see Frankfort High, as soon as they get a foot to the ball, I think they want to play it to that forward up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to feed Johnson any way they can, and you know, she's running that point of that offense.
Over in England, they call that Route 1. And that was a little bit of a slip up by Frankfort High, and Franklin County was nearly in as Escobar just needed another touch there, and she would have been in on goal. And just a touch a little bit too heavy there for Franklin County, and Frankfort High's got a chance to counter. And the ball played up forward, I believe. I was trying to pick out the number, and the sun is not doing us any favors either in that regard. As player goes down for Franklin County, but judged to be fair play, and Frankfort High on the attack here. The ball falls to Johnson's feet. She was looking to try to possibly shoot, but she lays it off, and the shot coming in that time from Mia Kennett, the senior. Not a lot of power behind that one.
No, and if she could have got a little more behind that and maybe tried to win opposite corner.
It looked like she had time too, just maybe a little bit rushed. But Frankfort High is certainly showing some attacking intent. And that's what, there are a couple things that scoring a goal that early gives you. Number one, it backs up that defensive line for Franklin County just a little bit more. So they can't really try to play the offside line as strictly as they have. They have to drop back a little bit because now you've shown them you can score at a moment's notice. And also, it gives your team the confidence to know this team can be got at.
Absolutely. You've seen that Johnson can beat the defenders down the field.
And they're playing it right back to her. And Frankfort High getting a foot to this one this time. And the Franklin County defense able to stem the tide a little bit. But Frankfort High will have a throw deep in the Flyer side of the field. As they get the right person on the throw to the Panthers. And that'll be nudged out for a throw by Franklin County as Frankfort High got one substitution, and I'll try to pick that up here in a little bit. So it's Emily McClavick coming in for Frankfort High as Lillian Wainscott gets a breather early.
And anybody that keeps up with Frankfort High soccer knows that name.
Oh, yeah.
McClavick, brother Reed, and sister Caroline, one of the best keepers to come through the 41st District.
Yeah, and that was the thing, I think, that, you know, kept the Panthers in a lot of games where maybe they just didn't have the offensive firepower to really, or the ability to hold possession, but it makes life a lot easier having such a steady set of hands there between the sticks. As Frankfort High will have a goal kick here. And we've got a substitution for the Panthers, as that's another thing you can say about Frankfort High is Jalea Hatchett enters the game. That bench is a lot deeper than we've seen it. They're able to go a lot deeper than in years past. We've seen some Frankfort High teams come in here that maybe have 1-2 players on the bench. And that's total, not just the players that actually are able and trusted to go in the game. That's total substitutions.
Yeah, I mean, Frankfort High has done a really good job developing depth on the boys and girls side the last few years. and that's been a struggle for the 1A school, you know, getting numbers out. But Coach Rogers has done a fabulous job. He just keeps plugging away, gets the most out of the girls that he has year in and year out, and it paid off this year. So
yeah, and that's the thing about it too. If you look, you've got, I'm looking at the seniors that are on the squad. It looks like we've got 5 seniors and 4 Frankfort High, but you know, a lot of players, you're seeing a lot of sophomores and a lot of freshmen along this roster. So things are looking up, you know, things are looking really bright for the future as well. And, you know, from an individual perspective, the goal scorer so far in this game is a freshman. So, you know, all things go well, you've got her for 3 more seasons.
yeah, and like I said, I got to see that Frankfort Middle team play in the spring. And that group of 8th graders, you could just see what they were going to be able to contribute right away in the fall. And, you know, I think that showed this year. Leading scorer is a freshman, but there's been other freshmen that have contributed too. So
the Flyers have a throw in front of their own bench as they try to get something going towards the Frankfort High goal here. Franklin County definitely appears to be focusing on trying to play it through the midfield, as and may have identified that as a place that Frankfort High has a little bit of a weakness or a tactical advantage that the Flyers can exploit somewhat. But here come the Panthers. They're just trying to play that ball into space out right now and just give something for Johnson to run into up top. And that's something Franklin County is going to have to really be aware of as far as their back line goes. So we take a look at the replay here. A collision in midfield. And Frankfort High, that's just kind of topped the ball that time trying to clear it. And you mentioned the Frankfort High boys team as well, who we saw here, who we will see here this afternoon, and we saw last year in that epic battle in the final game take down Great Crossing. And as I mentioned, we'll see them tonight as Franklin County has a run towards the goal here and just not able to catch up with that one. Was the Flyer attacker. You see the replay here. It's a nice ball into space there by Savannah Cameron, the freshman, but just a little bit more than, or excuse me, I had the wrong roster up. So that was Escobar for Franklin County. I knew I'd do that at least once. The problem is I printed them out and I meant to change the colors on them, and somehow I failed to do that. And I knew that would happen. So that's one. That's my one. That was a nice job there by number 12 for Frankfort High, William Wainscott, in just covering some territory, doing exactly what you want your left back to do. Is we've got a substitution coming in for the Flyers. Taylor, excuse me, that was number 27 for Franklin County. And I'll have to check my other roster for that one. My apologies. And here comes the throw. And that will be, I believe, our first corner of the game. Is a little discussion going on with the back line for Frankfort High there. It went off of number 33, Cora Anglin, for Frankfort High, and now she takes a position at the near post. Corners coming in, and there's a chipped shot, and the first shot on goal for Franklin County, and they managed to nudge it over the line. This game is tied. A little confusion there in front of the goal for Frankfort High, and Franklin County takes advantage. Let's take a look here. Missing with the header for Franklin County was Mariah Price, but they just stuck with it. And I was trying to see who got the last touch there. We'll see it here. That was a nice job by Dion Eccles to just keep that alive and just willing the ball into the goal. There was Franklin County showing a lot of fight and tying this game up.
Yeah, and that's why you crash the goal, right? And you keep fighting.
And we talked about having to look into the sun. I think that was having something that in the Franklin County goal, Kaylin Lee, their goalkeeper, was having a little bit of fun with there. As you see, Eccles, she was the one that did a great job to keep that play alive. After the missed header. And a nice job tracking back that time by Franklin County to prevent the danger, and that one just rolls out. So Frankfort High will have a throw on the near side of the field, at least from our perspective, the near side. And the official saw something they didn't like with the throw, so it will be.
Again for Frankfort High, number 9.
It might have bounced out, I'm not sure.
Or a foot came up on the throw.
Could have. As we've got a substitution coming into the game for Frankfort High. That is number 9, Mia Kennett, the senior, coming back into the game. Excuse me, I think that was number 9. The 9s and the 5s can trip me up sometimes. But number 5, Perez, I think, was already in the game. Nice job by Frankfort High putting the pressure on deep into Franklin County territory. Ball just kind of bouncing around. I think it hit the official. Frankfort High sticking with it. There's a left-footed chip shot that just doesn't really get the direction that it needed. And that was number 1 for Frankfort High, Annabelle Young, coming in, the senior. This has been a fun battle so far. You're definitely seeing the competing play styles here at play for both of these teams, as Franklin County trying to establish possession and Frankfort High just trying to play the ball into space and trying to stretch that back line for Franklin County.
Yeah, 2 different styles, really. You know, more of a possession style for Franklin County so far, trying to set up more of, you know, actual play style, and then Frankfort High just kind of looking for the counter and a quick strike, which we've seen them had success so far.
But I think that style of play, you know, a lot of people want to play that pretty style of, you know, pass and move and always having the triangles. We have Frankfort High on the attack here. Bit of a collision between the keeper and Frankfort High. The keeper's out of the goal right now, and just kicking it out there is Franklin County, but their goalkeeper is down. Let's take a look at this. And coming onto it there was Emma Johnson. I think she was trying to hold up her run, and the pace that Kaylin Lee, the goalkeeper, was coming in at was too fast for either of them. And that's just one of those. It's, you know, nobody's fault, both going for the ball.
As they call it, a 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
And, you know, immovable object meets a rock.
That's true. And that was the result, but it looks like Lee is back up and okay. She was kind of holding her back there for a second, which was some cause for concern, but these girls are tough.
Absolutely.
And that's not to invite any comparisons. I mean, they're just tough in general. We saw some of the hard hits that happened last night in both games, and especially here. And that's one thing I've noticed about the women's game in general. There's a lot more of a, you know, just rub some dirt in it, get on with it, than even the boys game at this level. And, you know, even in the professional level, there just seems to be a lot more grit, I guess.
Yeah, it's very physical. The girls are compared to the boys. You see more power and, if you want to say, finesse with the boys, but the girls, it just seems like it's just a physical battle just constantly.
Nice run by Johnson there. Not able to get that shot away, and the ball fell to Kennett, but she just really, it was kind of spinning away from her. She just had to lean back and wasn't able to get a whole lot of power behind that, but Frankfort High threatening. And you bring up a good point there. It's just, I've always noticed that, and maybe it's just a little bit of observation that I've had, but I've noticed that it takes a lot to get any of these players in the girls' game out of the game. You know, they always want to just like pick it up and go, and there's something really fun to watch about that. A lot of spirit. And some of those knocks that they take, or I wouldn't have gotten up from that.
Oh, and I mean, just like that one right there, that was probably knee to knee right there.
Yeah.
And you going down on this turf is not the softest.
If that were me, somebody'd be waking me up in the morning and I'd still be sitting there. Put it that way. We've got a free kick for Franklin County going straight at goal, and the Flyers get another goal, as unable to punch that one out was the Frankfort High goalkeeper, Rachel Nichols. It just kind of went straight up in the air, and coming in to finish it was a Flyer. We'll get a look at the replay here. Nice job there by number 9, Mariah Price, for Franklin County, sticking with that after the save. And I think it looked like the goalkeeper for Frankfort High, she got her hands to it, but also caught, when she hit it, it kind of hit the crossbar, and that really, the trajectory just took it completely straight up.
Yeah,
and that's what
it came right down in a perfect position for the rebound, right?
Yeah, and good job by Mariah Price to be aware of that and stick with the play after the initial save.
And we saw that a couple times in the Western Hills Great Crossing game, that Judy'd make a good save and wasn't able to control it, and then Great Crossing able to put it in off a rebound last night.
They call that the poacher's goal. There are people who make an entire career out of just being in the right place at the right time and just have a nose for goal. Mariah Price with the score there, 2-1 your score. And after that early goal, Franklin County has really dictated the pace and dictated the flow of this game. Frankfort High has found it tough to counter. Panthers have a run here, though. Here's Johnson. Johnson going to take the shot from distance. I think that's what she's doing, Chris. You mentioned she's really trying to test Kaylin Lee in that goal, because she knows that Lee is looking straight into the sun. Nice run there by Johnson that time. I think the angle just wasn't in her favor.
Well, and good job by the defender to keeping her wide and closing down that angle, making her have to shoot at the post.
That's a good point. That's exactly what you want your defender to do in that 1v1 situation. help the keeper out as much as possible. Johnson trying to chip it forward into the path of Kennett, but it'll be a throw for Franklin County. I didn't see if that did hit the hand of a Flyer there. It looked like it might have been a little bit of a phantom dribble of the basketball variety. And the Flyers look at a throw here. Now with a 2-1 lead. Here come the Panthers. You can see what they're doing. They're just trying to chip it forward and hope that back line for Franklin County just has a bad touch, and then they're right on it. But ever since the goal, they've been performing pretty admirably. Half the Flyer defense.
Yeah, forcing Frankfort High to take wide shots, kind of packing it in. Bend but not break defense is what you've seen the last 10 minutes or so of this game.
And what, you know, we talk about the story of last night's game, and really the thing that we saw over and over again was how good set piece play produced goals, and that's what we've seen for Franklin County so far. And one corner and one free kick and 2 goals for the Flyers as a result. And a lot of that is just creating chaos in the box. Ball played forward, plenty of space to run on it as Frankfort High dropped a little bit of deep, but stepping up to clear that was a Panther. Nice run here on the right side, but taking it away are the Panthers. Just a little bit of ping pong action going on between the two midfields at the moment. Now the Flyers going to try to switch fields here. And sort of just crowding Frankfort High off of the ball and just kind of incrementally working it forward, has Franklin County been doing here. But the Panthers know as soon as they get a foot to it, and there's a foul in midfield. It's just a little bit late here was Annabelle Young, got into the back of Brett Hall, the Flyer midfielder. And that ball comes back at the goal, and Kaylin Lee, right on the front edge of her box, gets down and grabs that one. Nice job of goalkeeping there. And that was Eccles on the right side. You can tell one of the strategies Franklin County is employing. They know she's got speed over there on the right, and they're trying to get her in space. As we see the replay, that was a nice play by Kaylin Lee to come out and sweep up the danger and just cover it up, because Emma Johnson for Frankfort was lurking, coming on in a hurry. And all it would have taken was just a tap of the foot to even this score. That one might fall kindly and just rolls out as it was just sitting there on a plate for 2 Flyers on the deflection, as the clearance in the middle of the field there by Hannah Hayes just kind of deflected its way back over in front of the Frankfort High goal, and they're still going to have a corner out of it. And this has been where Franklin County has been at their most dangerous so far tonight. It's a chipped in corner in front of the field. Frankfort High unable to clear it, and that shot just sails over, and you can tell a little bit upset with herself there for not being able to keep that one down was Dolores Boateng, the senior. She had a great look at it too. She was going to have to fire it through a few bodies to get there, but she was trying to place it in the top corner.
And that's one of those instances, maybe leaned back a little too much, got a little too much air on it. And it happens. And, you know, John, I've been sitting here watching for the last 20 minutes, and I've noticed Frankfort High seems a lot more uneasy on the turf than Franklin County. Franklin County playing all their home matches on turf. Franklin County still on natural, or Frankfort High still on natural grass.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's a difference.
Yeah, the ball bounces completely differently, and you know, we played this tournament for so many years, as we'll take a break from that point, as Franklin County threatening, and nice job by Frankfort High. I think that was number 3 for the Panthers. I'll have to say, yeah, Addison Hiles, the freshman defender, having the poise of a senior here as she does exactly what you're supposed to and stands on the goal line, gets in front of the shot, and really just keeps a goal off of the board. But Franklin County will have a corner here. Putting that one in a dangerous spot, not able to get their head to it, but it is nudged in that time, and that is Boateng making up for shooting that one over before. She gets a goal, and Franklin County doubles their lead with 9:17 left in the first half.
And another corner. How many did we see last night in the first game of the district tournament off of corners? And Frankfort High unable to corral this and clear it and just keep fighting and crashing that goal.
Yeah, and that was an industrious finish by Boateng. She knocked that in with both of her knees. Just getting any part of your body on it, because when you're that close, that's probably all it's going to take to get on the scoreboard, and that is exactly what she did. 3-1 your score. And I think you're right a little bit in the observation you were making before, because it seems like Frankfort High is really struggling with those corners coming in. Of course, the previous game which Frankfort High won was played on grass, and it's just a completely different way that the ball bounces, and when you're passing, the passes don't do exactly what they should do, as they're testing the sight line of Kaylin Lee from distance are the Panthers. But that's a good observation, and I really do think that might be part of what's bothering Frankfort High right now.
Well, that, and Frankfort High's not used to being in this position, right? The higher seed, maybe a little nerve setting in. You know, you're the 2 seed. The last few years, you've been, you know, the 3 or the 4.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last time we saw Frankfort High play on Tuesday night in this tournament. And that one's going to go out for a goal kick.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And you can tell one of the adjustments I feel like they've made so far is Boateng is signaling to the bench that it might be time for a breather, it looks like. But you can tell one of the adjustments they've made has Frankfort High. They're pulling Emma Johnson back, and she's playing a little bit deeper now. And I think that's just to try to get her a couple of touches and see if maybe they can get a 1-2 going with her, just to try to get her more involved. So she's having to play a little further up the pitch, or further back than she probably normally would. I would say normally they'd like to have her just sitting on that defensive line, right on the shoulder of the defender, trying to push that offside line just a little bit further forward. 7 minutes left in this one, 3-1. Franklin County bouncing back from giving up an early goal and really taking command of this one.
Yeah, 3 unanswered goals after Frankfort High jumped out quickly.
And all 3 just kind of products of sheer determination and being in the right place at the right time. All 3 coming, 2 of them coming from corners and 1 of them coming from a free kick. We'll get a couple of substitutions in here as McClavick comes back into the game for Frankfort High, and we see Kaylin Baker, the junior, come in back into the game for Franklin County. There's Kennett trying to find Johnson, but nice job there to break up play by Ryan Dispinet, number 11 for Franklin County. Frankfort High will have it thrown. They take it quickly. Just trying to get the ball into Franklin County territory here. And the Panthers have something on, just run out of real estate. I want to give some credit there to number 4, Shawika, for Franklin County. She's been doing a really nice job there in the midfield, and I feel like she's been kind of organizing things, keeping everybody, keeping that midfield secure, because that's really around, and, I hate to use the football terminology, but that is what we're seeing there on the field, 30-yard line. That's really where Frankfort High's attacks have kind of petered out, and, being in that center back role here for her, but having the confidence to step up, that's a really nice luxury to have in one of your center backs.
Absolutely. As I like to say it, that strong safety, comparing it to football, just being able to read the defense, almost like a middle linebacker.
There's a shot, and that's going to be goal number 4. Fantastic finish by Mariah Price. That's her second goal of the game. That is the 4th goal of the game for Franklin County, and they're all over the Panthers right now, and they look to be stamping their ticket to a matchup with Great Crossing on Thursday night. That's a fantastic finish with the left foot.
On the left-hand side of the field, and then go to the right post.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again.
That's exactly the way you practice it.
Yeah, and not much that the goalkeeper for Frankfort High could have even done about that. That was just a perfect spot for it. Fantastic goal, 4-1 your score. And for Franklin County, their first goal in open play. The junior forward, Mariah Price, getting her brace. We'll see Boateng, who knocked in the 3rd goal, coming back into the game. And now the Panthers with a lot of work to do to get back into this one. Now Franklin County definitely able to, I think they're just a lot more confident in possession at this point. And as soon as I say that, they give it up in the middle of the field. Never fails.
Yeah, the commentators curse.
I'd like to think I have that kind of power over time and space, but if I have it, I certainly haven't learned to use it to my benefit.
Every one of us have it.
Had a little Tony Robbins going on there for a second. And that's Shawika coming in to clear the danger for Franklin County, and might get a little something on the rebound here. Nichols nearly got to it. We had a knee-on-knee collision there, and it'll be a foul headed back the way of the Panthers. Both kids getting up there. It's what you like to see. That was between Price for Franklin County and Wilkerson, the captain for
That's about to
Frankfort
lose
High.
her armband there.
That one sails into the sky as the sun has set, and thus the built-in advantage that Frankfort High started the game with has been neutralized by nature. 2.5 minutes left in this first half, and since that goal 4 minutes into the game that put Frankfort High ahead, it's been all Flyers.
Yeah, Johnson able to get that first quick strike for Frankfort High, but they've really been on the defensive end since that point.
Shawika playing that ball forward, and it falls dead right into the path of Franklin County. Nice little step over by Alvis. She tries to take the shot and just not able to get enough control under that, but that was a fantastic pass out of the backfield. Nice job by Alvis to run it down. Had a little bit of a path, but I think you have to give a little bit of credit there to Wayne Scott coming in to try to just make it a little bit tougher of an angle, but this will be a corner for Franklin County. And you see how far out everyone for Franklin County is standing. That's definitely their tactic, and Frankfort High's been struggling with it so far. That time Wayne Scott maybe had her bell rung a little bit, but able to get her head to it. Let's take a look at this. I don't think there was anything intentional. Might have been a little bit of an elbow coming in, but I think Price had both eyes on the ball. Here's Johnson finally getting her foot to it, and she's dangerous in this position, just running by Flyers. Takes the right-footed shot, just kind of didn't really have the touch that she needed there. Felt like she had to take the shot quickly because she was running out of room. But the Panthers are going to get back. It's probably going to have to come down to her in that kind of a situation.
Yeah, and a good job by Bentley again to force her wide and cut off that angle on that run.
30 seconds left in this first half that Franklin County has really taken command of here. Make sure you stay with us, as we'll have the boys version of this game coming up about 45 minutes after the conclusion of this one. All kinds of soccer here for you on Cable 10 as we wind down this first half. Frankfort High, going to take the free kick here to close us out. And after a quick goal for Frankfort High, Franklin County really just put their mark on this first half, and they go into the halftime break 4-1 up on the Panthers. We'll have highlights for you in just a moment. Stay with us here on Cable 10.
In 1972, a young David Tolles vowed to jump the Kentucky River on his big wheel. He did not make it. We can rebuild him. We have the capability to make the world's perfect mechanic. Better, stronger, faster. David Tolles Tires and Auto Service on Duncan Road.
Kentucky Farm Bureau agents wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Game of the Week halftime show is brought to you by Classic Gold. Art-carved class rings are available at Classic Gold Master Jewelers on 859 East Main Street in Frankfort.
Classic Gold Master Jewelers has an amazing selection of jewelry that anyone will love. Classic Gold also provides custom services like pearl restringing, engraving, watch repair, ring resizing, and custom designs. Classic Gold Master Jewelers, 859 East Main Street.
4 unanswered Franklin County goals make up the difference here, as after a quick goal by Frankfort High, the Flyers really took control of this first half. As we see a little check of the lens there by one of the Panthers before the game. And this has been an interesting first half, really a clash between two competing styles. Franklin County really working to establish, is that one coming right into your living room, working to establish possession, but Frankfort High striking first and striking quickly here. And Emma Johnson doing all the work for this one, dribbling all the way, sneaking past the midfield for Franklin County and finishing that one nicely. And maybe a little early jitters there for Franklin County.
Well, that, and you had the sun beaming down right on the goalkeeper.
And that one just kind of unfair for Frankfort High, as that one just slipping out of the grasp while she's on the ground, but Franklin County taking advantage and knocking in the first goal, and then on a set piece coming in to finish that one was Price, just punching it in, being at the right place, right time. And here's goal number 3, and after Boateng skied one above the goal, she finished that one off of her knees. And that made it 3-1 Flyers. And then this is the goal that brought the score to where it was. Frankfort High just having a little bit of confusion there. 2 people trying to mark the same person and almost running into each other. And Mariah Price for Franklin County able to take advantage. Just some confusion in the back, and take nothing away from her. That's a fantastic finish, and somebody knows where the camera's at. And that brings us to our score line, 4-1. Franklin County on top and looking to punch their ticket to Thursday night's game against Great Crossing for the 41st District Championship. Stay with us, second half action coming up.
Game of the Week is brought to you by Bill McCoy Insurance Agency, celebrating over 48 years in business. With over 15 companies to shop from and collectively over 100 years of experience. Call, visit us, or request quotes on BillMcCoyInsuranceAgency.com.
Hi?
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
Jerry? When insurance agents work for only one company,
Michael!
their options are simply limited.
Everybody!
But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Bill McCoy Insurance Agency, celebrating over 48 years in business. Call, come by, or visit our website for free quotes today.
Game of the Week is brought to you by Estate Tree Service. We have a solution for all your tree care needs. Estate Tree Service provides expert tree care and preservation. Call 502-229-5258 for a free estimate.
If your property has trees, you know they add beauty and value, but they also have the potential to do serious damage. That's where the team of pros at Estate Tree Service come in. From trimming and shaping to complete removal, including stumps. The team at Estate Tree Service gets the job done, even in an emergency. Estate Tree Service has been the area's premier tree service since 1957, and our long list of satisfied clients can tell you why. The name you know and trust. Estate Tree Service.
Game of the Week is brought to you by Traditional Bank. When your business is looking to win, with tough competition around every corner, you need high performers backing you up. Traditional Bank's local team will stand by your side as a trusted partner, your friendly neighbor, and your biggest fan. It's time to make the switch. Traditional Bank, member FDIC.
Game of the Week is brought to you by Whitehead Hancock. Whitehead Hancock Plumbing has been serving Frankfort families for more than 100 years. You can trust Whitehead Hancock for all your plumbing, heating, cooling, and septic needs. Call them today at 502-227-2213 for 24-hour emergency service, or visit their website at whiteheadhancock.com. Tune in to Around 10, Frankfort's very own morning show. We cover all the happenings in the capital city every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. live on Cable 10, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember, if it happens around town, it's on Around 10.
As we get ready to start the second half here, Frankfort High kicking off, and they've got a bit of a mountain to climb if they want to keep their season alive. And it's been a great season for Frankfort High. Take nothing away from them, but they're going to have to do a lot of work in a little bit of time here if they want to continue it, as they find themselves down 3 goals as we start the second half here in night 2 of the 41st District Girls Soccer Tournament. Franklin County really taking advantage of some miscues by Frankfort High on set pieces and free kicks and corner kicks. And one thing I've noticed about Franklin County's strategy is they've just been keeping everybody out of the box, and then as soon as the ball goes in, they all just sprint towards the goal. And I think that's really confusing that back line for Frankfort High, giving them too much to think about, not really knowing who to cover and when.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about there, is when they're crashing 6 or 7 into the box on a corner, it's really hard to pick someone to mark when you're backpedaling, and, you know, it's dangerous for the defense.
You end up having to just try to cover space, and that can get really hard, especially if you're trying to have a goalkeeper come out and grab possession. And that seems to have been the problem for Frankfort High. It was on the first goal, as the goalkeeper just not able to hold on to it. And that was what really started the bleeding for Frankfort High. Franklin County looking to pick up right where they left off. But now Frankfort High with, and this is really how they got on the scoreboard early, just trying to kind of push the tempo and trying to counter on Franklin County and catch the Flyers without as many bodies downfield.
Well, Franklin County, after that first goal, done a really good job of the transition defense to, you know, stop the counters.
That's a nice shot by Emma Johnson. She's had to work a lot harder to get on the ball after about the first 10 minutes of the game, coming way into the midfield. And you saw the same thing there as it kind of caroms off of her arm, so that'll be a free kick. We'll see the freshman here dribbling between Flyers. And I don't know that I agree with that call. I don't know where she's supposed to put her arm there, and she was really close to it. That's kind of harsh.
Yeah, I thought that was a little ticky-tacky whistle there.
I know in some of the higher leagues they say handballs generally aren't called unless the hand is in an unnatural position, and right there it looked like Johnson was just, she saw it coming, was just trying to kind of keep her arms in and cover up. And even with that, proximity is kind of taken into consideration on whether or not it's a handball or not, especially when it's in the box and a penalty is in question. It'll be a goal kick for the Panthers.
So, John, I was looking at halftime, getting some scores and updates from around the region. You know, we've got 5 of the 18 set, at least have, punched their ticket to the regional tournament, with Great Crossing here last night, Frederick Douglass in the 42nd, Catholic and Lafayette, they're a staple in the 8th region, or I mean the 11th region, and then Madison Central has punched their ticket, and the winner of this will be number 6. And also was looking, Franklin County looking to, if they hold on here against Frankfort High, able to, have an opportunity to win their first district title since 19. And that was their year. I mean, they had 13 seniors on that team. That was a loaded Franklin County team that year. That was Great Crossing's first year in the district, the Woodford County less district, so.
And now Great Crossing, they've gotten their feet established here. And we also have to mention new school, and you're always going to have a little bit of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, there's going to be a little bit of teething issues, just getting, you know, all your sports up and running. For the most part, they've done just that. And we've seen it in every sport. You know, we don't see them in football, but we see them, you know, as far as like the districts go, it's a completely different world in football, obviously. But, you know, in basketball, we've seen them come in and be really competitive. They've been competitive as far as just being in the 11th region. Yeah. And they had such a good basketball team last year, really losing a heartbreaker, if I remember correctly.
So Great Crossing's come in and they've been pretty dominant on the boys and girls side of soccer, baseball and softball, basketball. You know, as you said, football, we don't really see them as much. But, you know, a school that size, it's hard to compete, especially these smaller schools that we have here.
Speaking of football, we're going to be down at Bell Point Friday night. You and Mr. Goins will be back on the mic here.
Frankfort High's first district game as Emnitz comes to town.
All the way from Henry County coming in to take on Frankfort High. We'll have all the action here as we have a little bit of a slip up there. I didn't hear yakety sax, but started playing in my mind after that. Now Frankfort High looking to switch fields as Johnson almost got that one into space. She had Mia Kinnett, or I don't think that was Kinnett, it may have been number 8 over there for Frankfort High, but had her in a ton of space. Nice job by Franklin County to just get a foot to it. As we take, ooh. I apologize for the utterance into the mic, but anybody that's rolled an ankle, as soon as you see that, just the pit in your stomach.
Absolutely. We talked about it off the air that Coach Rogers may have to move Wilkerson around, and he's moved her up off that back line to kind of give Johnson some support on the offensive side.
And that back line having to do a little bit of work here is pushing forward. That was Dion Eccles, who really kind of, I think her persistence really kind of created that first goal for Franklin County. It's just been a team effort all the way around for the Flyers. And we talked about that earlier in terms of just like how Frankfort High was looking to play and just like looking to kind of sit back, try to get possession and catch Franklin County on the break. And we don't ever mean to simplify it that much because it's not an easy way to play. It takes a lot of positional discipline. It takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of tactical discipline because you have to cover space in behind if someone's going. You have to keep each other covered because you're going to be under pretty. It takes a lot of stamina as well.
Well, and another thing that I have noticed as we're a full game and a half into the district is the contrast of styles between all 4 teams, right?
That's a good point.
Western Hills, knowing that they were outmanned or outwomaned last night, really packed in on the defensive end, basically had 10 or 11 most of the time packed back.
And the way Great Crossing was playing, that was really all that made the game last as long as it did.
And Great Crossing spreading you out, 1 or 2 touches, and then the pass was always moving forward.
Every touch has purpose, and that's one of the things that separates the the teams that can really just hold possession well, and the teams that struggle in that regard is just whatever your first touch is doing. That's one thing we noticed with the Warhawks. It's just that, and we've noticed that with the good teams over the years. You know, the Western Hills team of a few years back that your daughter played for, I think, had a lot of that as well, where you're thinking about who's going to be in the space you're playing that ball into before you hit it. And that's really the difference, I think, in what we've seen so far in this tournament.
And, you know, County, kind of a slower tempo, working the ball up the field, and then Frankfort High looking for that quick strike off of a counter, right? They're trying to get it out quickly to Johnson.
There's Bentley with the corner. Almost looks like that may hook into just inside the right post, but sailing out, is not able to get to that, was Brett Hall, the junior midfielder, number 21. So we see the boys over there for Frankfort High warming up behind the goal. We'll have that one for you here in just a little bit, so make sure you stay with us after the game, as we'll have our play of the game. We'll have some highlights of this one, and in just a little bit after that, we'll kick off the boys here as the lights come on. Speaking of, we had our first taste of the Western Hills Light Show last night, and I gotta say, I came away duly impressed.
Yeah, it almost felt like you were at Between the Hedges or in Tuscaloosa with the flashing lights. And
yeah, I kept waiting to hear Sandstorm. I'm glad it didn't play, because we probably wouldn't still be on YouTube. And Franklin County just really shepherding Frankfort High off the ball. The Flyers are doing a great job just hunting in packs right now. Frankfort High finding it really hard to get any kind of possession heading in the opposite side of the field. There's Boateng. She scored the third goal tonight. Trying to find Mariah Price, who just got crowded out that time by the Panthers. They're trying to get the ball to Mia Kennett, number 9, in space, who was pursuing there for the Panthers, but Flyers able to just watch that one roll out harmlessly. And I think Frankfort High just a little bit maybe shell-shocked, maybe the wrong way to put it, but you talked about it, Chris, not having been in this position before, as Price nearly getting another one, as a lot of pressure being put on that back line for Frankfort High, and we've got a collision here, and you never want to see that. It's number 11 for Frankfort High, and as that's a head injury, we'll take a little bit, and we'll see how it happened here. That was Price. And I think just both players reaching for the same bit of space, and the captain, Margaret Wilkerson, just taking the worst end of that, it looked like. I don't think it could have felt too good for either of them, but she's gonna step off for a second, and we hope that she's able to rejoin us in a little bit and it's nothing serious, because those head-on-head collisions are nothing to take any chances with.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, being a senior, you don't want to go out like that on possibly your last high school game.
Yeah. And with their season having gone as well as it has so far, that's especially true, you know, because, you know, your senior leadership is a big reason why that's happened, and she's been here for some of maybe the times that weren't so great for Frankfort High, and you know, just kind of seeing the fruit of 4 years of labor paying off. And you know, either way, no matter what happens over the next 25 some minutes, they're going to end the season with the winning record, and that in itself is a fantastic accomplishment and a testament to how far this program's come.
Absolutely, in a short amount of time, right? I don't want to take this, people take this the wrong way. They were really the doormat of the district for several years. And it's not that they were that bad of teams. There was just so much talent in the 41st district, from Woodford, Great Crossing, Hills. Stated County's 19 team had 13 seniors that had played club together here for the Frankfort Fury, and you know, through middle school and high school together. And you know, Frankfort High had one of the best keepers during that time period, and Caroline McClovick, but they just didn't have a whole lot of numbers. We talked about that earlier, that they just didn't have the numbers and the depth to go along with some of the pieces that they had.
And the keeper can only do so much to keep the ball out of the goal when it keeps getting fired at them repeatedly. And you mentioned something about club soccer there, and I think that's really, that kind of bears itself out in some of these bigger schools that are also, you have club systems. I know in Lexington you have Lexington FC, which is really one of the bigger club programs around, but you know, all kind, you know, you mentioned Frankfort Fury. I know Nicholasville, they have, I believe it's Storm there.
And you see what West Jessamond's able to do year in and year out,
and
right?
We've got a breakaway for Frankfort High, but I didn't really see why that got pulled back. I kind of like to see that again, because I thought when she started to approach the ball, let's take a look at this again. And that does prove that she was a little bit offside. Had Emma Johnson there just been a little bit closer to midfield, even if she had been offside, it would have been fair game. But just being on the opposite side of the 50 there, and that was why the flag went up. But Frankfort High trying everything they can to get back into this one. They don't want their season to go out like this. There's Mariah Price coming into the midfield to get the ball. She's got 2 goals already tonight. Number 9 for Franklin County. And there's Pettit for the Flyers. Getting edged off the ball there by Frankfort High. And the ball finds its way to Johnson, whose first touch, we talked about first touch having an intention, and you saw it right there with Johnson. Her first touch was to play it into space that she could run onto, and that's the sign of a natural attacker and natural goal scorer. Let's take a look at the replay. Big collision that time. I think that was Price that went flying for Franklin County, apropos. Probably not the way she would have intended to live up to that nickname, but
Frankfort High getting their first corner kick of the night.
Yeah, and we're 15 minutes into the second half, but we'll see how Franklin County deals with it. Bounces. This one makes its way in front of goal. A Panther got their knee to it, but not able to really control it. It was kind of headed the opposite direction. Now Franklin County with a chance to counter as here's Nichols. Nice job by Frankfort High to get back and snuff out the danger. There's Shawika. Shanks that one a little bit. She'll have another chance at it. Here's Pettit. Nice shot to play it forward to Price. Price has the ball in space. Playing out left. That's Escobar going up against a Panther, and both of them end up on the ground. little stare down afterward. We'll play on. Schwika has the ball. Back to Escobar. Escobar still with it. Finds Price in the middle. Price dribbling around Panthers. And the shot is going to bounce off the post and coming in for the rebound. I believe that was Nickel finishing it off. And that may just finish off the threat from Frankfort High as the Flyers go up 5-1 here. We'll see the replay here is a little stare down between Escobar there and number 13 for Frankfort High. And let's take a look at the goal here. And coming down to try to save that was Nichols, and just really couldn't get solid contact of it. Caromed off the right post. And again, one thing Franklin County has done so well tonight is follow up the play. And that time Nichols getting her first goal of the game and Franklin County's 5th goal of the night, 5-1, and Franklin County all but in the game Thursday night and in the 11th region tournament.
Yeah, you just, you know, the thing is, you just got to keep crashing the goal, right? That you start teaching that at an early age. When the ball goes towards the net, you crash because, one, it could get tipped. You could be in a position for a rebound, or that time off a post and a tap in.
Rachel Nichols, the goalkeeper for Frankfort High, kind of took the worst end of that one, and she's going to look like she came up holding her shoulder, so we'll have a substitute goalkeeper coming in for Frankfort High, trying to pick out a number. It is number 19, Emily McClavick, trying to carry on the family name there in goal for the Panthers. Definitely giving up a little bit in height from what you have with Rachel Nichols in goal. But the pedigree is certainly there. And I hate to see that for Nichols because it looked like she took a hard hit off of her shoulder onto the turf, and that may be one place. And having never played on turf, I can't really attest from firsthand experience, but I imagine it to be just not quite have as much give.
Well, and this turf gives more than the old AstroTurf back in the 80s and 90s. It's definitely a little more rubberized than it used to be. So,
yeah, you can say that from experience because then you have to play on it at Cardinal Stadium a few times. The old Cardinal Stadium.
The old out at the fairgrounds. So
I think that was just painted concrete.
Felt like it.
Yeah. I mean, when they leave the AstroTurf up for events, you can tell that maybe, you know, when you're walking on it during concerts, maybe the softness and the bounce isn't the main objective here.
No, I don't think they worried about if there was high heels on that turf.
Franklin County crashing the box here. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah, I don't think they worried about high heels and boots on the old AstroTurf as they do this one.
Every time I hear the name, I just think of those old multi-purpose stadiums you used to see, like the Vet and the old Metrodome and
the old Astrodome.
Yeah. Well, didn't Riverfront Stadium have turf?
Yes.
They were all turf, and they were all just big circles.
Yeah,
that was
like
the most convenient way to fit baseball and football in there.
Yeah, and they all look the same, right? The old Three Rivers Stadium. And
yeah, and I think the last one of those that's around, and no telling how much longer if ticket sales are to be believed, but the, I don't even know what it's called now, but the Oakland Stadium, I think it's kind of the last of its breed there in multi-purpose stadiums.
The old Oakland Coliseum.
That's right. I'm sure it has a corporate name now because everything in that town does.
Well, and I have heard rumors that going down that route since the MLB playoffs started today, that Oakland is most likely going to lose the Athletics.
And that's a real shame, I think, because you just really kind of hate to see that for any professional sports team, especially one that has that much history. You know, you have, it's not as if it's a team that, you know, like, and I hate to disparage the Expos, but they didn't have a lot of history. The one really good season they had got cut short by the strike, but, you know, the A's, that's a World Series winning team, and it's also, you know, one of the more interesting stories in Major League Baseball, not to go off on too much of a tangent here, but, you know, I think Moneyball and that whole story did bring a lot of new people into watching baseball, and I would really just hate to see that team go away. It's a unique town. When they're on, the fan following is really, really special, and I think it's just one of many teams where there just hasn't been a lot on the field and a lot of things off the field to really reinforce getting people into the gates.
Well, I'm going to show my age here, and I remember when Oakland was probably the most dominant baseball team in the major leagues in 88, 89, and 90.
I mean, they had Ricky Henderson, who may be, if you look at sheer statistics on everything he did, may have been the best baseball player of all time in terms of just being good at everything. As Frankfort High is going to get one back here as we get our minds back onto the game. Emma Johnson clawing one back. That's her 19th goal of the season, as Franklin County just maybe a little lapse in concentration there, but Frankfort High getting back on top.
Keeper
and that's a
comes
nice
out.
job there by, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Jalea Hatchett really kept that alive for Frankfort High. A nice soft touch, played it right into the path of Johnson. And you mentioned it, Chris, keeper came out and left the goal wide open.
Yeah, keeper came out, and right as she was making that commitment, Hatch just tapped it over and had a wide open goal.
So 5-2 the score. Frankfort High trying to stay alive here, if nothing else, making it a little bit more respectful, but you never know. I mean, we've seen stranger things happen. And once one goal goes in, that back line for Franklin County just gets a little bit of a seed of doubt in their heads. I mean, this is not over yet.
No, there's still a lot of time left. 19 minutes, anything can happen in a soccer game.
Franklin County now back on the attack. The shot from distance, and that's going to go in from distance. And as soon as we say Frankfort High trying to get their way back, Mariah Price fires one in with the right foot and gets her hat trick on the night. 6-2 your score. That's a fantastic goal from outside the box. I believe she was standing just outside of it. This will tell the tale. And yeah, she's a good 5 yards out of the box. That's a wonder goal right there. Just chips it and places it perfectly. Nothing McClavitt could do there in the, excuse me, that's Nichols back in the goal. It's good to see that. But yeah, I think she might have thought that was going just wide of the post, and Price was just able to snake it in. 6-2, Franklin County rolling now. And you might say that that goal they conceded, the second goal there, might have woken the Flyers back up a little bit.
A little bit, and I see a touch there by Wilkerson. Good to see her back on the field for Frankfort High.
And here's Johnson with the breakaway. And she chips it just wide right. And you can tell how frustrated she is with herself. It looks like she just caught her toe a little bit on the turf. You can tell she was just trying to kind of place it inside that right corner and just hooked it a little bit too much. And I think that touch with the left foot might have been the one that kind of got her a little bit out of sorts, but not able to finish at that time. And that really would have kept Frankfort High in this, as it is 6-2 the score. But Emma Johnson with 2 goals on the night. You can hardly fault her for her effort, but Franklin County really needed that one to go in. Or Frankfort High, excuse me. I knew I was going to do it once.
Well, you made it 53 minutes into the game, or more than that, 63 minutes into the game.
Yeah, but you always revert to type. Price with a nice through ball. And I don't think Escobar knew it was going to make its way to her. But give Price credit. I mean, she gives up a lot in terms of, you know, she's one of the smaller physically players on the field, but she's in there with everything. She's always got her head up, always looking forward. She's just had a fantastic game so far.
But it's the old saying, she's wiry.
That she is, and she's been a live wire tonight with 3 goals. And with Franklin County looking to have secured their spot in the game Thursday night, we don't want to call this one over prematurely, but 4 goals is going to be a lot for Frankfort High to make back here. But we'll kind of keep our ooh, that was close there. I believe that was Wayne Scott, number 12, or number 13, excuse me. That was Jalea Hatchett who had that assist for the last goal. She had a look at it, and good idea to try to place and try to play it across the face of goal, and just ran out of room there. But Frankfort High still threatening.
Yeah, they're not giving in just yet.
That goal kick, I believe they're going to take that again, or they may have just wanted a different ball. But going back to what I was saying, it'll be interesting if it is indeed Franklin County holding on, as it looks likely will happen. It'll be interesting to see if they try to play the same way against Great Crossing, because there's going to be a save that time. And it's nice to see Rachel Nichols come back into the game and get a save there, as that was Dion Eccles looking for her second. I think she was just kind of trying to chip it into the left corner, but maybe didn't get enough hook on it. There's Shawika playing it into space and just a little too far ahead of Boateng for Franklin County. And Frankfort High, I think, maybe tried to make up too much yardage on the throw. We'll have a substitution come in, as that is number 9, Mia Kenneth, the senior, coming back in, and we may see the seniors for Frankfort High starting to come back on the field here, as it looks like the Panthers are going to end what has been a great season for Frankfort High. Might end a little prematurely in terms of what they wanted tonight, but these seniors, absolutely nothing to hang their head about from this season.
No, you know, first time Frankfort High wins Capital City Classic.
Yeah. And you look at Frankfort High, I don't see one game here, and you know, it's not damning with faint praise, as we have Johnson still trying to get pointed towards goal there, nearly got a breakaway. And it might sound like damning with faint praise, but when you look at this, the score lines that they've had this season, you don't see one mercy roll game. And that's something you couldn't always say about Frankfort High. As nearly chipping it through the goalpost there was a Panther, That was Mia Kenneth, the senior. Just, you know, Frankfort High still attacking. They still want to, they're not ready to give this up yet. They're not ready to give up the season, essentially.
Well, and you state, right, that, and we've talked about it, one goal usually leads to more goals. It seems to be, if you can get one or two to fall for you quickly, we got a new ball game.
Yeah, and you look at the way Franklin County is lining up right now to kind of keep a watch out for that. They're keeping a defender back. As you saw right there taking that goal kick, Anne-Marie Bentley has been basically standing about 10 yards in front of the goalkeeper and about 3 or 4 yards behind Emma Johnson for Frankfort High. They know that danger is still there, and they're not ready to let that go just yet.
Yeah, she's playing that safety valve, right? That deep coverage to make sure that that breakaway counter is at least slowed down if Johnson gets a breakaway.
And that's saying something for the quality of your opposition, because they know that Frankfort High is so good at finding her in space, and Johnson is so good at keeping herself onside, that you're just kind of admit it and keep someone back. As Johnson in space with the ball going up against Shawika, and nice job by Shawika to kind of muscle Johnson out of good shooting range and gives her goalkeeper, Kaylin Lee, an easy one to save. And Lee had to kind of reach down and almost catch that one like a baseball, but manages to, or like a grounder. Frankfort High on the attack again. Johnson has to pick up the ball again against Shawika, trying to cut in. And that's going to go behind, and that'll be a corner. Now we'll see how Frankfort High handles this one, whether or not they duplicate that same style. And they're going to have a couple of Panthers in the box. We've got one running, couple Panthers running far post, and nothing really for them to run onto as the corner doesn't even make it past the first post. The outswinger forgot to swing.
The draw didn't draw.
That's true. The hook did, well, we'll just leave it there. But here's Johnson, still pushing to get that third goal. Nice job to get herself into some space, and she will earn another corner, I believe. We'll see. Let's take a look at this, because they may be pulling that back for a goal kick. I thought it was a corner. And
it's going to be a goal kick.
That's why I'm in the booth and not on the field. I even brought my glasses tonight. Still couldn't pick that one out. There's Johnson. And she's some kind of player and just a freshman. How special is she going to be in 2 or 3 years? Already with nearly 20 goals on the season. And you can just tell the confidence that she has every time she touches the ball and not afraid to go up against anybody. As Frankfort High will have to throw in Franklin County, just appears to be kind of keeping everything in front of them here. And that one hit the hand, and I think we're going to get a PK here as Boateng had her hands up, I think, a little bit, and just unable to keep it out. Let's take a look at this. And that one actually hit her in the head. I thought they might have called a handball, but they didn't point to the spot. And that is indeed what they called. And it looked like it just hit her right in the neck almost, but got the shoulder in it. And here to take the penalty kick for Frankfort High will be the captain, Wilkerson. And she scores it into the left corner, 6-3. Frankfort High getting one back here and just putting the slightest seed of question into this one. It's just a well-taken kick there. I think Kaylin Lee just knew that one was placed perfectly. Even if she dived for it, there was no way she was going to get that one back. And it's good to see Wilkerson back in the game as well after that collision of heads. Good to see her back, and good to see her get a goal in what is quite possibly going to be her last game playing for Frankfort High.
Yeah, you always want to see a senior go out if they do, if this is their last game, on a high note, even though it may be behind on the scoreboard.
Shawika puts the free kick in. It's going to bounce harmlessly for Frankfort High's purposes to the left of the goal. I believe her sister played soccer, or it was a relative. I don't know if it was her sister or not. But she's done a really nice job there, having to, as we mentioned in the first half, having to step out, and in the second half, she's really been the one that's kind of been having to make those almost shuttle runs, you know, like running shoulder to shoulder with Johnson, and she's more than held her own and getting possession back for a moment there for Franklin County. So she's kind of been playing a dual role for the Flyers, where she's lining up at center back, but she's also stepping up and kind of playing that number 6 defensive midfielder role. And that, for me, being a junkie for the sport, is my favorite role in the field, because so much of the pace of play is dictated from that position, especially for teams that try to play like Franklin County does, more possession type. You have to have that player that is just a ball winner.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to call them the Bulldogs.
I think that's an apt description for a lot of them. And you have to have the kind of personality that's willing to do the work that is involved with that position. Is Price here trying to get her 4th, and that one is saved. The rebound is going to be kicked just wide, as Escobar not able to get that one directed towards goal, and Nichols with the save there came up holding that shoulder, which I'm sure is still sore. But let's take a look at this. Switched feet, tried to go with the right foot, and nice job by Nichols to get down and save that. And she's had kind of a rough night, had to go out for a little bit, but toughing it out, wanting to see out the season. She'll be back next year for the Panthers. Only a junior. So with 5 minutes left, Frankfort High down to Franklin County 6-3. Possibly time to start looking at Thursday night, as it's looking increasingly likely that it's going to be the Franklin County Flyers that take on Great Crossing. And it's going to be, as I was starting to say earlier, it will be interesting to see Franklin County if they try to adopt this same play style against a Great Crossing, because I feel like that's going to play right to what Great Crossing wants to do. They want to pull you out of position. They want to pass the ball around you and have you trying to have everybody run against them. I wonder if Franklin County will maybe sit back a little bit more than they have been tonight.
Well, I think you have to against a team like Great Crossing. I don't think that you can beat them at their own game and try to spread them out. And they're so disciplined in their striking, their precise passing. I think, Franklin County, I've noticed sometimes that their spacing's not been the greatest tonight. And if that's the case Thursday night, they're going to be in trouble against Great Crossing.
And the first time those two teams played, it was at Franklin County, and Great Crossing coming out on top 8-0 in that one. Of course, Great Crossing winning last night to earn their trip to the championship game and also their trip to the 11th region tournament with a 10-0 win that ended early against the host team, Western Hills. And I think it'll be interesting to see as you see the captain Wilkerson, who had that penalty kick goal. It'll be interesting to see, once we conclude things on Thursday night, the all-tournament team and who from these two teams winds up on there, because I think you've got a lot of standout players on both sides. I've liked what I've seen out of Jalea Hatchett. She had that nice assist earlier. Of course, Johnson has the 2 goals, and then you have Wilkerson stepping up and knocking in that penalty. And then on the other side, you look at what the Flyers have had tonight. Dion Echols has been really good, had that goal, just been
everywhere?
Yeah, everywhere down that right-hand side, causing a lot of problems. You have Boateng, who had that goal. I feel like we've seen a lot out of Shawika, and of course, Mariah Price with the hat trick. So a lot of decisions to be made there, but a lot of soccer left to be played, as it'll be Franklin County taking on Great Crossing on Thursday night. Make sure you stay with us after this one, as we've got 2 minutes left here. And after the final horn sounds, we'll have a play of the game, and we will have highlights. And then if you stay with us a little bit longer, we're going to have the boys side of the tournament, as these same 2 schools go head to head here on the west side. So you don't want to miss it. We've got a couple of substitutes in, getting some minutes here for Frankfort High. If I can catch those numbers, I will.
I think 117.
Yeah, 17 for Frankfort High has come in. That is Marie Mallard. Frankfort High still fighting to get the ball forward. 1:12 left, and at this point they know the season is going to come to an end, but holding their heads up high, and rightly so, as a fantastic season for Frankfort High will come to an end, as their record will end at 10-8-1, and their season will come to a close. But for Franklin County, 7-12 coming into this game, they're going to be 8-12 once it ends, and really a chance to light a spark. And you know, you never know, I mean, much stranger things have happened, and we've seen teams that are heavily favored come into this tournament, and the final game, if you don't score right away, they start to labor a little bit, and then when you labor, you start committing too many people forward. And I think the Flyers will definitely have something to say. It's going to be interesting to see how they face that challenge. But that challenge is exactly what's going to be in front of them. The privilege of having that challenge by virtue of beating Frankfort High 6-3. This one is over. The Panther season comes to an end. The Flyer season continues for at least 2 more games. We'll have the highlights and the play of the game. Stay with us here on Cable 10.
The Game of the Week, Play of the Game, is brought to you by Tim and Rebecca Hubbard with Exit Realty Crutcher. Choose local realtors that treat you like family, because real estate is what they do and families are why they do it. In today's fast-paced housing market, you need realtors with experience who understand that timing is essential when finding the perfect home for the right price. Tim and Rebecca Hubbard with Exit Realty Crutcher are here to ensure that you and your family have a positive experience from start to finish.
Real estate is what we do,
and families are why we do it.
6-3 your final as game one of night 2 of the 41st District Tournament has come to an end. Franklin County moving on to face Great Crossing. And here's a big reason why they did it in the person of Mariah Price. And this is our play of the game. Fantastic finish, running through traffic, bouncing a couple of Panther defenders off of each other, and a nice finish here with the left foot, just hooking it inside the post and taking a little victory lap there, and why not? Fantastic goal, and she had 3 of them tonight, and that was a big reason why Franklin County will be moving on. And Chris, tough game for Frankfort. They, as you'll see here, got out on top early, and then I think Franklin County just really started to establish possession in the midfield. And once they started operating more on Frankfort High's side of the field, that started producing corner kicks, free kicks, set pieces, and that was really what was the undoing of Frankfort High tonight.
Yeah, as you can see right here, this was the first one off a corner. Squirts out of the keeper's hands and then in, ties it up.
Yeah,
and
fantastic job by Escobar there to stay with it.
And then there's another one that just bounces, takes an awkward bounce, and Franklin County able to capitalize. There's Boateng with the double knee shot there off of another misplay by Frankfort.
And really, you said it, just taking advantage of what they give you and making your own luck. And I think that was the difference in this game for Franklin County, just always crashing the goal. That was the goal again by Mariah Price, but we saw it over and over again for Franklin County, just really sticking with it on all of these goals.
Yeah, and you start teaching that at 5 and 6 years old. Crash to go, follow your shots.
You see it again there for Eckel.
And I mean that, that proves right there what can lead to crashing to go on following shots.
Yeah, and it's led to Franklin County earning a spot in the championship game of the 41st District Tournament. Stay with us. These two teams on the boys' side are going to be going head-to-head. We'll have all the action for you coming up here in a few minutes on the 41st District Tournament broadcast on Cable 10.